Hey guys, happy Friday. So today I want to talk about something that's pretty near and dear to me, and that is what it was like to grow up with gay dads. So if you know me, you probably already know or are aware of how it's impacted me. But the thing is I see a lot of public figures who are gay and perhaps having an alternative family experience, but I don't see a lot of people coming out in the media or as public figures who have had gay parents. So I thought that would be suitable for me to talk about it because it's seriously impacted my life and it's a huge aspect of who I am. So I guess I'll start with the backstory. My parents were both born and raised into the Mormon Church in Utah, and most of my family since the start of the church has been Mormon. So my dad came out when I was, I think, like 3. Basically, his whole life had kind of been dealing with feeling like he was gay, but sincerely wanting to maintain the Mormon life. You know, they told him that if he would be righteous and live according to the Mormon doctrine and pray a lot, that he wouldn't have the feelings anymore. But that's just not how it worked out for him. Luckily, my parents remained friends, and they prioritized my well-being over having some fight about him being gay. Probably about a year later, both of my parents met their other significant others, and my dad met my other dad. I was, I think, 4, and they've been together ever since. It has been 16 years, and they are now married, and they have me and my adopted little brother, and I also have 3 other siblings from my mom's side of the family. I guess I'll talk about the way that it has impacted me, and that, I guess, started with probably like late elementary school. I had the realization that it wasn't really a normal thing and that I didn't know other people with the same kind of family structure. Everybody had straight parents or single parents, but I didn't know anybody who had gay parents as well until later in my life. I think the hurtful thing to me was that, or when I first started realizing that it was abnormal, is that I would have friends and their parents wouldn't want me necessarily spending time with them, or they wouldn't want their kids to come over to my house, especially not for sleepovers, because I had gay dads. And what's funny about that is as soon as their parents really got to know me and I got to spend a lot of time like over at their houses instead, they changed their minds and they opened up their hearts, and I'm really glad that that was the case for me. And also in elementary school, I did get bullied a little bit when people started, I guess, finding out about me having gay parents. But what's funny is later on, most of the people who bullied me, or at least a few of the people who bullied me, came back to apologize, realizing that they had been pretty lame in doing so. Also, an impact that it had on me is that it has made me more politically aware. So when I was probably in like 2nd grade, California had something called Prop 22. And Prop 22 was the state's first effort to make marriage strictly between a man and a woman. And then there was Prop 8, which was only a few years ago. I was a senior in high school when Prop 8 was happening, I think. And I remember feeling really confused. I don't know. I was maybe a little angry, but mostly I was just hurt. It has made me deeply politically aware and involved. As you know by my previous videos, I am very political and I am studying politics. And those propositions regarding gay marriage were my first realizations that politics could impact you on a very personal level. I didn't understand why people didn't want my dads to be married, and I didn't understand why people didn't think that we were a real family. Because to me, my dads, who were both elementary school teachers, completely embodied the idea of warmth and nurturing and love and taking care of kids. I guess I don't really have a lot of perspective on what kind of questions people would want me to answer about what it was like to grow up with gay dads. Perhaps I haven't asked if my parents have gender roles, like if one of them is more feminine or masculine, and I say no, they split things pretty much evenly down the middle in the house as far as like household tasks and maybe tasks that might be perceived as more masculine or more feminine, they're completely equal. So maybe my understanding of gender roles is a little bit unusual, But I did also have my mother and her husband as an example. So I do see heterosexual and homosexual couples parenting throughout my childhood, and they're really not that much different. My dads have put the well-being of myself and my little brother first, always. They're excellent communicators, and they are very warm and nurturing and loving. I don't think that I've been impacted negatively by not having the traditional gender roles reinforced in my household. As far as my extended family goes, I have been extremely fortunate. We have been extremely fortunate because my father is the eldest of 6 siblings, and many of them are still involved in the Mormon Church and still identify as LDS. And they have all come around to be extremely loving and accepting. And in talking to them, I asked them how they came to grips with the fact that their eldest brother was gay. And they say that it just wouldn't have been Christ-like at all or loving at all to disown someone in their family just because his way of living and his understanding of his nuclear family was a little different than theirs. I think it's been one of the greatest blessings in my life, for lack of a better word, that I do have huge amounts of extended family, not just on my father's side, but all around, that are very warm and accepting. I think my story would have been much different and a lot sadder if my family had either rejected me or rejected either of my dads because they're gay. My dads are the best example of a healthy, committed relationship that I have in my entire life. They stick together through thick and thin, even though no marriage is easy. They are extremely hardworking. I mean, they're my greatest role models. I didn't understand why, in I guess the political and public opinion area of things, people didn't think that a real family could consist of gay parents or one gay parent or any other like alternative structure. I hope that this would be helpful to someone who maybe has an alternative family as well, especially if you have 1 or 2 or more gay parents. I wish that I had seen a video like this when I was younger, because I felt kind of like a weirdo because I didn't know anybody else who had a family structure like mine. I just want to reiterate that it feels really amazing to know that the people in my family and in my life have consciously chosen acceptance and love and open-mindedness over fear of what is different than them, over hatred. I don't know. Another thing that it's made me realize is that if I ever expect my family, who have different ideals than me, perhaps religiously, if I expect them to accept my family and my way of life here in San Francisco, I have to love them for who they are as well, no matter how different it is. I definitely prioritize family and love over, I guess, religious or political differences. And I think that prioritization on my behalf is definitely a result of having to learn tolerance and love and acceptance, which some of the time I didn't receive as a kid. One of my best friends here, and in fact now my roommate, also has a gay dad. And I do have a few other friends who have gay parents or an alternative family. And I think that there are going to be increasing numbers of us. So in the court that I work in, I do read the adoption calendar files, and I see numerous gay couples adopting, and it feels wonderful because you know that these kids are being adopted into a family that will love them and nurture them. So I don't know, I guess I don't really know what else to say. I just hope that this is of use to somebody out there. I think it's a subject that should be talked about more. So if you have gay parents, leave me a comment or like the video. And if you have any questions, I guess, about further what it was like to grow up with gay parents, then feel free to ask, and I'd love to answer. So have a great Friday. Bye.